Welcome back to Discovering Your Mission with Dr. Mordecai. Today, I'm honored to sit with the trailblazer, a visionary, and a powerhouse in higher education, Dr. Tonjua Williams, president of St. Petersburg College in Florida. Dr. Williams is not only the first woman and first African American to lead the college in its history, but she's also a nationally respected voice in economic mobility, student success, and transformational leadership. In this episode, she shares the powerful values that guide her leadership, how she built a legacy of access and excellence, and her personal mission to help individuals escape poverty and change generational outcomes. If you're a leader, an inspiring change maker, or simply in need of inspiration, you're in the right place. Greetings, everyone. Once again, it's Dr. Mordecai, and I am here with someone who I absolutely admire. I always call her Big Sis, Dr. Tonjua Williams. Thank you so much for making time for us, President Williams. How are you doing?
I am doing well, and I am so glad that you and I are brothers and sisters. Ever since we've met, we've worked well, and we just come together as a family. You've been at my institution. Everybody loved you. Your presentation was just amazing. So it is truly an honor to join you here today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I rarely get an opportunity to ask all the questions that are on my heart to ask, but there's some key questions I definitely want to spend some time with. So let's set a foundation here. You've had a remarkable span of a career thus far. In many ways, I feel like you're just getting started, but we're talking about 30 years plus of you really working as an educator and doing some amazing work. What core values have you have consistently guided your leadership at St. Petersburg College and beyond?
Wow, that's amazing. You know, 37 years is a lifetime, and having an opportunity to grow up here at the institution has been priceless. And so for me, integrity is like number one. Your word is bond. People look at your actions, not, just how you walk around, but how you communicate and work with them, how you apologize when you make a mistake and owning it. So accountability is important to me. Being empathetic, showing people that you truly care about them is a major value of mine that I hold near and dear to my heart. I also like accountability. I have to be responsible for the institution, but my actions. And as president, we don't always get it right. And so you have to be okay sharing that I made a mistake and I'm sorry. Courage. If you want to be liked as a college president, sell ice cream or do something, sell cookies or something. But this position and many positions require a lot of courage, but you have to practice courage over comfort. And I think that's a tough value to have, but people are depending on you to be courageous and authentic and for you to follow through on what needs to be done and address it. And then my final will be compassion. A good leader must be a compassionate leader, must be willing to show compassion when it is time to show compassion. And those are the things that I grew up with my mom and my grandmother, and so they continue to serve me very well today.
I've got to ask this question just as a follow-up for context reasons. It is so rich what you just shared. I would imagine you didn't gain all of those values all at once. That's just come a long time in the trajectory of your service.
Those values probably became stronger and stronger as I addressed failure. As I address the things that are hard, the things that are just not cute and fun. You're not, in this role, you're not, shaking hands and kissing babies. You are a practitioner of the work. Yeah. And so as time went on, because I am always trying to learn, I would use my mistakes and the mistakes of others to strengthen integrity, to strengthen honesty, to strengthen empathy and compassion, and to strengthen accountability, being held accountable for the work. And so it did not happen overnight, Dr. Mordecai. I can tell you that. It came with time.
Yeah.
It came with time. I knew about these values, but I think I haven't perfected them all, but I have surely improved in those areas over time.
I love it. I love it. in your tenure, but let me go back before tenure. You are the first, not only a woman president of St. Petersburg College, but you're also the first African American president of St. Petersburg
Right,
College.
right.
For those that are watching and listening to today's episode and that resonates with them, that your history, your walking history, and what you represent for the institution in its histories. How have you navigated the spaces? How have
Wow.
you dealt with the challenges?
Being the first, regardless of who you are, it's a burden and a blessing.
Yeah.
It goes both ways because you're the first one to do it, but you're also blessed to see how others are moving forward because you took that stance and you made it happen. Bringing strong people around me to make sure that the advice that I am getting is solid, but also being willing to learn from others. When you stop learning, you stop living. And
Mm.
so to me, this was done, and the work that I've done, I did not do alone. I always credit someone else who gave the idea, the concept, the thought, who did the work, who pushed it out there. My job is to encourage the team and to facilitate the process and make sure people are successful. And so for me, to get it done, I had to have a strong tribe of people that I can count on and talk to about strategy and to maintain emotional intelligence, to keep you strong, to move through it. But as a leader in any role, there are some lonely nights. There are some dark clouds. There are some moments that you want to, gut check yourself. Like, what am I doing? That is normal for a leader. Okay, we're not perfect and we don't know it all the time, but we can definitely surround ourselves around a strong tribe and make sure we hire great people who carry the same passion for whatever you're trying to do, the institution, the department, the division, the students, what have you, so that you can push the agenda out. But you cannot do it alone. I did not get here by myself. I could name at least 100 people who stood in the gap on my behalf to make sure I had the tools and the skills to do what I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing that. One of the things I was curious about was all of the successful impact that St. Petersburg College has had in its community under your tenure. It's well documented. Can you share how your administration has been successful in transforming the institution, ensuring these student outcomes, especially given underrepresented communities?
Thank you so much. We've been focusing so much on the opportunity zones. These are our poverty zip codes, individuals who are coming to the college who live in zip codes of under service. They don't have the jobs, they don't have the resources or the money. And so we have been focusing on ensuring that we advance economic mobility in our community. To do that, first you got to look at data. You can't start without knowing the facts. Who are these people and what are the issues and what's the consequence if we do not help them? I think that's something we miss. We say, why do we want to help a community that lives in poverty? Well, what's going to happen if you don't help them?
Yes.
And then I think second, as president, I have to let go and inspire my team to move forward. I can't micromanage them. And so they came up with amazing ideas like the Promise Scholarship. This is a scholarship where any student, no matter where you live and who you are, if you graduate from a public high school, you can go to SPC free. You can get your AA degree free. And that's a big deal. That unlocked a lot of opportunities. They decided, hey, Dr. Williams, we need to improve in student transfer rates and job placement rates. So we joined the organization to help us improve in those areas. Everything is intentional, but it starts with the data and it starts with a heart for the community. We wanted to get more, I want to say closer to student-facing initiatives and services to help our students because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
But unlocking the chains and saying, guys, go forward. Well, how do you think we need to move? And then putting that as a part of our strategic plan and our board signed off on it. There's three things we're focusing on: academic excellence, advancing economic mobility, and community engagement. Those are our three things. So when we make a decision, it has to improve one of those areas. So when we talk about advancing economic mobility, we're saying that when you leave St. Petersburg College, you should be making more money after you leave us than you did when you came. And if we're educating you into poverty, we're going in the wrong direction.
Yes.
So we've had to practice courage over comfort and remove some highly enrolled programs that led to nowhere. I mean, students were taking them, but they weren't getting the job. So we had to change that. And as a result, SPC is the number one state college out of 28 state colleges in Florida with the highest graduation salaries. And we're real proud of that work. It was hard, it was messy, and we still have some more to do. But that is how my team has they've done the work. I can't take any credit for it. And they've been focusing on our first in college, first in family to go to college, having intentional mentors for those students, helping them because they don't have home support, their families who have never attended. So I could go on and on. You see my voice is high when I talk about my team because they do such a great job. The faculty are great. So I'm really proud of them on that.
So, Madam President, I can hear, and I'm sure that those that are watching, those that are listening, they can hear the passion in your voice. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You're a first generation college student yourself, correct?
Correct.
So is that what has informed this passion? Like, walk me through, even in your own realities of being a first generation college student, the significance that has played in your approach to mission advancement.
You know, my experience as a first in family college student certainly impacted the passion behind our purpose in helping these students succeed. Because I know the struggle that students go through when they don't have families who understand what college is, how to do it, how to apply for financial aid, why I need to stay up and study instead of being on the PlayStation or what have you. And so this has definitely impacted my passion, especially because in Pinellas County, there are more of us than not. There are more individuals who live in poverty. There are more individuals from single parent homes. There are more individuals from families who none of them went to college, but they're great people. Actually, some of them are smarter than I am because they were able to move, buy homes, and do things that people with college degrees have not done. And so my upbringing and my experience certainly impacted my interest and support for opening doors for those who need economic mobility.
Just out of my own curiosities, and you'll be helping me here when I ask this question, that is, being a first generation student and the way how that has informed your approach to leadership, your approach to care, and then now what is culturally embedded at St. Petersburg College, all of that had to there was a seed that was planted somewhere along your journey that even allowed for you to know you could do this, let alone be a college president. I'm just curious, where did that happen? Was it a moment? Was it just, what happened to where, boom, okay, Dr. Williams is going to become Dr. Williams? And when did that happen?
Well, it's funny. It happened with Nana.
Okay.
My grandmother, her family, they were sharecroppers, and I lived with my grandma till the 5th grade, me and my mom. And my grandma kept telling me, String Bean, you've got to be better than we are. String Bean, we're depending on you. String Bean, that was my nickname. They would probably call me Waffle right now or something much fatter than a string bean. But it started with her and putting that expectation out there that I can do more and do better, and making sure I understood that where I am and where she was does not dictate where I can go and what I can do. And then the second person was I worked at a swimming pool company after I graduated from college for about 6 months, and the owner said, you need to go down to that college because I can't pay you more. You have more education than I do. You have a degree. Why don't you go? And I went, and within a week, I had my first job as a financial aid accounting clerk.
Wow.
And then someone said, hey, Tonjua, you should try this. I'm like, really? So, and then it started moving. But it all started with my grandmother saying, you know, you have to do better than we've done. You just we need you to do better. And she would always say, when you go to college, when you do, and I'm just like, we don't have any money. We'll figure it out. And then when it was time, she said, I don't know how to help you, but you better figure it out. So I still ended up having to figure it out. She and my mom were just amazing. I guess they were just the support that I needed, that, okay, this is the expectation. And they kept saying, stop looking at where we are now. You know, stop looking at being on welfare. Stop looking at that. This is not your life sentence. This is not the end. Okay, you're gonna do better. And as I moved throughout the organization, there were times I wanted to quit, and my mom's like, "Finish. You got to be the first. Keep going."
Yeah.
And so that really encouraged me. And then 35 years ago, I married the best man in the United States of America, Derek. We've been married almost 35 years, and he has just really been my rock and my support. And don't think because you're a college president, you don't need support. That's when you need it the most. Trust me. That's when you need it the most. So I'm probably talking too much.
No, this is about you. We're here to learn about you. And I just want the record to reflect. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Brother Derek yet, but I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
My hope is that I can be as smooth. When I
I'm
reach,
sure you are.
that's a smooth brother. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Let me go here. You are heavily involved in so many boards, the community, your mom, your wife, your madam president, your board member, your mentor, your all these different things. How do you balance it all? Maybe I'm not using the right word when I say balance, but
Yeah.
how do you do all of this?
Now that's a question I have to, if Derek was here to answer, he'd say, not very well. She is always gone, busy. I think that I stick with trying to make sure that I remain relevant so that my institution is relevant. So I join these boards to learn and bring things back to the college. But I do mentor individuals because so many people mentored me. And you've just got to pay it forward. I think I didn't coin this, but I use it a lot. It's learn, earn, and return. And it has a lot to do with learn what you need to learn, earn the money or whatever you need to, but you've got to go back and you've got to return it to the community. You've got to go back and breathe back into the universe and give it back because you received it. You have to give it. And so what I found myself lately doing is really trying to take some unorthodox days off during the week, like a Tuesday or a Thursday, to spend that time to balance, to take care of myself, to spend time with my husband and things of that nature. So you do have to take some time to invest in yourself and breathe. I think that depending on the condition of your department or the organization when you inherit it, I mean, sometimes you got to start grinding early and then you can, level off and then speed back up. But the balance is very difficult. I can't tell you that I'm good at that. It's an area that I continue to work on because the speed of change is just it's so crazy. I think that when I started at the college in 86, 87, the presidential role was, good morning, everyone. Hi. It was, now it's, you've got to, roll, and then the changes are happening so fast. So that impacts the balance. That does impact balance. So that's an area I definitely need to work better on.
Okay, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that. Because you make it look easy. So it's good to know that there's some vulnerabilities in that, right?
Yeah,
It humanizes that. Let me ask you this. Trying to get through the best of the questions I know I want to ask you because, and I swear, it seems like you're winning an award in this, and you're being recognized for that, and all of these different recognitions. I would imagine, yes, it's about the work. Yes, it's about leading the institution, but it's also, I would imagine, about relationships. For someone who's seeking to master relationships in the manner in which you have successfully mastered, what advice do you have for them in terms of the partnerships with the local businesses and the organizations, and how have you navigated that?
To me, the first thing that I've had to do is find the commonalities. Where do we come together? Where do I come together with the individual or the organization that I'm trying to build a relationship with? Because not everyone that you're working with really is your vibe. So you've got to find ways to find those commonalities to make things move forward. So for me, first, find commonalities. If I'm working with a company, what are they struggling with that we can provide? What are we struggling with that they can provide? If it's an individual, I research them. What do you like? What do I like? How do we come together on that? I think having compassion, because when you start talking about communities that are opportunity communities that are struggling, you have to realize that you're going to have to go in and serve food and be human and give your time and your talent. But I think the other piece to this is ensuring that your team is gaining these same opportunities and skill sets so that I don't have to be at everything to make sure they get that face time, they get those opportunities so that they can grow. Because one of my missions is to make sure that I build leaders. That is like my fave. I love helping other people, become what they want to become. And so to do that, a good leader builds leaders. That's what we do. And so that is what I enjoy the most. I think the other piece is not every partnership happens overnight. Be patient. Sometimes it might take a year to build that relationship, to get something going, but you just keep moving. Be vulnerable, be honest, be factual, follow through, practice emotional intelligence. Okay, it don't happen the first time. Don't get angry. Don't show it on your face. I think that the workforce community now is being a little bit more open with their emotions and bringing that forward. I don't know if that happens at Aurora, but it definitely happens in my community. So we're spending a lot of time on the growth mindset. We're spending a lot of time on transforming institutions and how to do that. And transforming communities and how we can be sort of like the facilitator of that process. But you have to be present. You can't write an email and think, I wrote the email, we're good. No, we're not. You need to go knock on the door. You need to have lunch. You need to find a way to get their attention. And you have to be intentional. Why are you trying to make this relationship work? What is it going to do? How is it going to help student success? Is it going to improve professional development? What is it going to do for you? We have too many leaders just going around making friends over things for what? It needs to be meaningful.
I got two more questions I want to ask you. My second to last question I want to ask you is, what advice do you have for those that desire to be Madam President Tonjua Williams? What advice do you have for those that want to be college presidents?
Build your brand. Your brand is now. It's not when you decide you want to be a president. Walk the walk, talk the talk, be willing to join committees and groups to learn, to make sure that you're building your brand and that you have a good handle on who you are and what you believe in. Because there's going to be times that you will be tested on, are you over here, are you over there? Are you in the middle? Are you up? Are you down? So first, build your brand and be comfortable in the skin you're in. I think that you can only be the best you. Yes. Don't try to be somebody else, okay? Because it doesn't work. Yes. You can only be you. I think the other piece is study and understand higher ed and what's happening in the landscape of student learning and growth. Know your community and what kind of institution you want to be in. Some of us may not do well in an urban setting. Some of us may not do well in a multi-campus institution. But you need to take the time to go visit, spend time, sit in the lobby and watch. Invest in yourself. Get a good mentor, not someone who's going to give you positive stuff. Someone who's going to keep it real. You need someone who's going to tell you the truth, and then be prepared to set a vision. Yeah. And if you don't have a vision for yourself and your life, it's going to be hard for you to set a vision for an institution. It's going to be hard. And you can't pull a vision out of a magazine or Google it. You can't. You could try chat GPT, but if you can't spew it off and you can't say it with confidence, that's not your vision.
I love
And
it. That's a
so
mic drop. That's a mic
that's it.
drop. Hold
That's
on.
it.
Hold on. Okay. Last question. As you know, the name of this show is Discovering Your Mission, and I love to ask all of my guests as my final question is what is their personal mission statement and their why? You've already shared so much wisdom, so much of this
Right.
has already come through, but I certainly want to end with that being the final question. Please share with us your mission statement and why.
Thank you. My mission statement is to help individuals get out of poverty and to change generations. That's it. I don't care if you're green, blue, or yellow. It doesn't matter to me. It's how do we help people improve their circumstance? So St. Petersburg College is here to build a community of care, to make sure we improve culture, communication, collaboration, and creativity. And we're going to move this community forward because fewer people will be in poverty and folks will be living their best life. That's my job. That's what I do. All my volunteerism is surrounded around that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard and just gained so much wisdom from Dr. Tonjua Williams, President of St. Petersburg College. Thank you so much, Madam President, for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for indulging me. This has been great.
What an incredible conversation with Dr. Tonjua Williams, a true example of what it means to lead with integrity, compassion, and vision. Her journey from first-generation college student to nationally recognized college student reminds us all what's possible when we commit to purpose over position. Now let's reflect on 3 powerful takeaways from this episode. Number 1, lead with courage over comfort. Dr. Williams reminded us that being an effective leader means having the courage to make difficult decisions, whether it's restructuring programs, empowering teams, or standing firm in your own values. She challenges us to lead boldly, especially when it's hard. Number 2, economic mobility is a mission. From launching the Promise Scholarship to removing programs that no longer serve students, Dr. Williams is unapologetically focused on transforming lives. Her leadership proves that when we center education around our outcomes, we change communities that break cycles of poverty. Number 3, build a brand and a tribe. Dr. Williams shared wisdom on the importance of owning your leadership identity, nurturing authentic relationships, and developing other leaders. As she said, a good leader builds leaders, and that mindset is the legacy she's leaving behind. Dr. Williams, once again, thank you for your transparency, your strength, and your servant leadership. Your story inspires us to serve with excellence and walk with purpose. And to everyone listening and watching, if you were moved by today's episode, subscribe, share it, and stay connected. For more powerful conversations like this, visit itsdrmordecai.com. And until next time, stay courageous, stay committed, and keep discovering your mission.